Hello. I know you don't want to be talking of Christmas so early, but at the manse we have to make early preparations, so Mrs. McCandlish had agreed to arrange for the sign over the manse this year. I popped round to her house to tell her what we wanted, but she was out, so I scrawled a little note and left it for her. I got a phone call later on saying that she was at the doctor's suffering from shock. Don't understand it, but anyway, the note was quite straightforward. It just said, "Unto us is born a son, 12 foot high and 3 foot wide." Old Mrs. Abernethy opened her house to the public, and everyone downwind got a rent rebate. Not saying her house was dirty, but the cockroaches had formed their own housing association. Mind you, she's a poor wee soul. I mean, really, I was 6 months ago I discovered that she'd no money to buy any clothes for her family or herself. Poor thing was going round the house with no clothes on. Imagine what that's like all day and every day, walking around the house without any clothes on. I, of course, have been visiting her on a regular basis. I was delivering last week's sermon and I noticed a couple in the front pew. I'd never seen them before, and they'd a lovely little daughter with them. And, well, since it had doubled the size of my congregation, if you don't count Mr. Bampot, the organist, I decided that I would chat with them afterwards and hope that my sparkling personality and witty chat would encourage them to return the following week. I went down to speak to the little girl and I noticed that she was cuddling this old brown teddy bear. Well, it had a leg missing and its ears were all ripped to shreds and the fur was worn and one eye was pointing that way and the other was pointing that way. But you could see it was a well-loved toy, and I asked her what was the name of her little teddy bear, and she replied gladly. Well, I was a little surprised and asked her to repeat the name, and she did. She said, "Gladly, Reverend." She said, "And you should know it's named it after hymn 327. Gladly, my cross-eyed bear." Our prisons are filled bulging with burglars and all sorts of people who've stolen money from their fellow man. It's also a sad fact that many of them are being sent back to prison for reoffending, and I don't want to get involved in the rights and wrongs about imprisonment or treatment of offenders, but surely everyone agrees they should be stopped by whatever means necessary, and at least we should be protected from them. Well, I suppose the government are doing their best, but there is one exception. Can you guess what it is? Don't fast forward if you don't mind. There is one exception, and the government are actually giving the green light to countless con artists who actually encourage them to make millions from, how shall I phrase it, unfortunate people, psychics, mediums, and the like. These con artists are all they're allowed, condoned, and permitted to continue to steal from their victims on the simple condition that they don't say anything bad. In other words, they may lie with impunity and make fortunes in the process. Now, to be a thief is one thing, but to be a thief with the blessing of the government, it's not right, you know. Email your MP after watching this video, I mean it this time, and request that he raises the issue in Parliament and just say, "I support Bob Cash's campaign to change the law to prohibit these con artists from advertising or performing. Lo, I prophesy The internet will soon be used by ordinary folk who are fed up with the way we are all controlled and grouped together to force governments to really act on behalf of the electorate. Imagine if there was a website that you could log into, say, once a week and have your say about one specific issue that had been raised. For example, if we all stopped attending one particular supermarket for a wee while, or we boycotted one particular petrol company for a wee while, they'd very soon have to bring the prices down to an acceptable profit level. I mean, look at the millions, sometimes billions of excessive profit these companies make. And we do nothing to stop them. But this is something we can do something about at this moment in time. Email your MP. You heard it first here. Lucky you. Let all your contacts know about this. Let's see how far we can go. And I'm sorry. You have no right to expect folk like me to do all the work and then you're going to benefit from it. You've got to participate. I'm appealing to you. Mind you, I'm appealing to everyone. It's my chirpy disposition and charisma I expect. But I'm getting used to that as time goes on. By the way, if you think that it's okay and there's no problem about paying £7.41 duty on a bottle of spirits, or for every £30 you spend on petrol, £18 of it's going to the government, if you don't mind that, just ignore my request. I'm afraid you're far too brainwashed and you're beyond redemption. After my last message to you, well, at least my family said it should be my last. I received hundreds of emails from you. And I received dozens of emails from you, and I'm going. Well, there was this postcard from Ayr. Yeah, it shows the cemetery at the old kirk, and it bore the legend, "Wish you were here." I think it was meant to be a joke. I didn't laugh. Although, as most of you know, I have an unrivaled, lively sense of humour. However, it's nice to see that my little talk had some beneficial effects. Many of you realised after listening to me last week that your own lives weren't really all that bad. So as you can plainly see, I'm overjoyed with that result. I can't contain myself, and so, good night.